Hi fellow birders, how you doing? I hope you are busy birding. In case you are planning your next expedition to the Neotropics, consider the Caatinga biome of northeast Brazil. I have to tell you, this is one of the best places for birding in Brazil. I super recommend. Caatinga means white forest in the local indigenous language. In the dry season, the majority of plants don't have leaves, so it looks grayish or whitish. In the rainy season, the flora transforms itself and the place looks completely different. This is the only exclusive Brazilian biome, a very dry kind of savanna, with lots of endemic species. In other words, some of the plants and animals living here cannot be found anywhere else. In this video, I will introduce you to this very special place of very special people and birds. The very large Bahia state has some great options for birding the Caatinga. There are several spots to choose from. One of my favorites is Canudos Biological Station, at the very north of the Bahia state. A pristine area that protects the breeding grounds of a super special bird. The Lear's or indigo macaw. Similar to the hyacinth macaw, this smaller macaw has also a specialized diet. This fact puts those species in greater danger, as they are dependent on certain palm trees. The nesting preference of this macaw on sand cliffs has helped them to avoid predation by terrestrial mammals for thousands of years. This same fact has in some degree prevented their total extinction, as the main threat of Lear's macaws is the poaching for the illegal wildlife trade. By the 1970s, when the species' habitat was finally discovered, the total population was estimated to be on critical levels. Today, the species is formally protected, reintroduced, and properly being studied. Birding on Canudos grounds will proportionate many other nice Caatinga birds. Look at this photogenic cactus parakeet, a bird that is found only in northeast Brazil. To make the most of what we are talking about, let me introduce you to the famous Maracanã. The blue-winged macaw gave its name to the most iconic soccer stadium in Brazil. As a savanna, the Caatinga environment is relatively easy to bird. Just watch out for the many cactus and spiky trees. If they have flowers, look for the super pretty ruby topaz hummingbird. In the rainy season, if you see any flowering tree or bush, stop and wait. You might get lucky and see the super endemic broad-tipped hermit. On cactus fruit, you might encounter the purple-throated euphonia or the outstanding Campotrupial feeding. In the dry season, the visibility is enhanced by the lack of leaves on trees and bushes. That's when we have better chances of getting good views of the good stuff. The stripe-backed antbird is a very distinct species, easy to ID. It is the only antbird here with a long tail, heavily streaking on the back, and the black throat of the male. The voice is also unmistakable. Two quite harsh whistles, each rising and falling in pitch. The soundscape of Caatinga. Listen. On very rocky and dry habitats, look for the endemics pygmy nightjar and also Caatinga black tyrant.
Step more to your left, carry the dead scent of this higher bush in front of us. Step more to your left, carry the dead scent of this higher bush.
This angry looking bird is the red-shouldered spinetail, another super target species in our bird tours. Small, slender and long-tailed, the Bahia wagtail tyrant is also an endemic target here. Everybody loves picolets, the smallest of the woodpeckers. So that's why we are always looking for the spotted enocraceus. This last one cannot be found in Canudos, but only in the very north of Brazil. One essential destination on this kind of birdwatching tour is the astonishing Chapada Diamantina National Park in central Bahia. This national park has a bird list of more than 350 species. Here, at around 1000 meters high in elevation, we have Caatinga, Atlantic forest and the Campos rupestres. Beautiful scenery and birds everywhere you look. I really want to introduce you to a recently described species, endemic to this area only. The Sincora antwren is actually a bird that inhabits only the Campos rupestres, a kind of rocky habitat with low and thick bushes and grasses from higher altitudes. This is a very responsive bird to the playback. Hard to miss. Sincora antwren's cousin, the black-bellied antwren, is quite similar. Pay attention to the different calls and coloration of the back. Gray in this case, not brown or rusty. The largest and most interesting member of Xenopsis, found only in taller Caatinga, is the great Xenops, another very sought-after bird here. After a short playback, be quick in positioning yourself. Then be still and pay attention, because it comes in a discreet manner and normally leaves quickly after checking us out. After a couple of rains, everything here turns green and insects abound. All flycatchers get super active with the fresh input of insects. There is food for everybody now. The ochre lord flycatcher is now very vocal. Strict and fork-tailed flycatchers are quite common migrants here during the rainy season. On the road to Mucugê, another hotspot for birding, we stop for several interesting birds like the ash-throated casiornes, a kind of flycatcher found only in northeast Brazil. The São Francisco sparrow is always a target as well. This bird has a very restricted range in the states of Minas Gerais and Bahia. Check how vocal they are. At this same road we might get the Caatinga antwren, a much more discreet kind of antwren. Speaking of being discreet, the white-browed ant pitta is the master of disguise here. This is a tricky one to see well. If you enjoyed this kind of video, just press the like button and subscribe. A very important inhabitant of Caatinga is the scarlet-throated tanager, a very peculiar kind of tanager, alone in the genus Compsotropis. Check the very distinct bill shape. Traveling and doing road birding can be very rewarding around here. Look at this handsome white-eared puffbird, showing himself very well at the fence post. The black-throated saltator can also be easily seen from the road. Both are quite photogenic, don't you think? If you see patches with native grass, stop, because you might find some nice little birds like the pileated finch and the grassland yellow finch. Or maybe some cool seed-eaters like the white-throated, plumbeous, and yellow-bellied. Another birding hotspot you should consider visiting is the Sítio Pau Preto, on the very south of Ceará state. This place has the purpose of protecting the Caatinga and its local wildlife. The good news is that bird watchers are very welcome here. There are trails, bird feeders and human feeders. What I mean is that the food here is delicious. Best place to photograph remarkable birds like the red-called cardinals, burnish buff and cinnamon tanagers. Tropical gnatcatchers are cute and common here. Look at that. How about the charismatic white-naped jay? I love pretty and clever birds. When venturing on trails, look for the vocal long-billed wren. Also very vocal is the Caatinga antshrike. On the low levels of the vegetation, search for another endemic bird of northeast Brazil, the silvery-cheeked antshrike. Be quiet and walk slowly, and you might find the super interesting red-billed sidebill. This little woodpecker was busy looking for food down low and gave us spectacular views. We got lucky. Well, now you know that Caatinga is the place to be. Don't forget your cameras. That's it, my friends. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you need a professional birding guide for a trip like this, my email is on the description of this video. Thanks for watching.
Right here. Oh my goodness.